What's up, fam? Thanks for coming back for another miracle of Jesus. This one is in Matthew 17, and I like this one. I probably say that at the first of all the miracles, but it's pretty cool. There's always so much to learn about the different miracles. So we're going Matthew 17, flipping over to 24. Sounds like there's always a lot of people following Jesus. There's a big herd of commotion and stuff following Jesus. And Jesus and I'm sure the disciples and a bunch of people get to Capernaum. And when they got there, when they came to Capernaum, they that received tribute money, we're on verse 24, came to Peter. Now, as I believe that the tribute money here, this isn't, as I understand it, I don't think it's going to Rome or something. I think this is for the temple tribute money, which seems like any Jesus would want to contribute to the temple or the disciples. You know, this seems like a good cause that they would be paying for. Anyway, they came to Peter, not Jesus, Peter, and said, "Doth not your master pay tribute?" Sorry. So they're asking Peter, does Jesus pay tribute? They're not asking him. They're asking Peter. Which they're probably terrified to ask Jesus anything. Like, I think Jesus has stumped the Pharisees and the scribes and the Sadducees so many times that I wouldn't want to be the one going up and asking if he's going to make his temple donation. Anyway, Peter said yes. Yes, he does. And when he came to the house, Jesus prevented him. So Jesus is talking to Peter, Simon, and stopped him. Same person, right? Simon Peter. So we're still talking to Peter. "What thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of strangers?" So who are they taking money from? Is it from their own kids or from strangers? Peter saith unto him, "Of strangers." Jesus saith unto him, "Then are the children free." So to me, it makes it sound like strangers would be paying the tribute, and maybe not him. Maybe that's not something that he would be paying. That being children or part of the family that maybe worships at the temple, that they wouldn't. I don't know, but it sounds like Jesus wouldn't be paying. And other translations of the Bible, they word it a little different, so it makes it sound like Jesus shouldn't be paying anyway. But, let's go to the next verse. 27, notwithstanding, lest we should offend them. Not saying not because we owe it, not because we should, so we don't offend them, so we don't make a big deal, so we don't make them angry, so we don't whatever. The reason isn't that they should. The reason that they are going to is that they don't offend the other people, which I think is interesting. Now, that is interesting, sorta, but not really. This is the interesting part. This is the cool part coming up here. So, lest we should offend them, just so we don't offend them, Peter, go to the sea, cast a hook, take up the fish that first cometh up, your first fish that you catch, and when you open his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money, and take and give it to them for me and thee. Okay. There's so much in that verse. That is so awesome. So, Jesus is saying, go to the sea and cast a hook. Now, this is Peter. Peter is a fisherman. I think there's so much symbolism here with Jesus and Peter, because Peter is the fisherman. So, Jesus is sending Peter to go fishing. That is what Peter does. He's a fisherman. So, sending him to go fish makes sense. Like that makes sense for Peter. that would, I think, make sense for everybody that Peter is going to go fish. Cast and hook. You got one hook, cast it in there. You're going to catch a fish, the first fish you get. So Jesus is guaranteeing Peter's going to catch a fish. The first fish that you catch, Peter, something's going to happen. And I think that's amazing. And I think it's amazing because I think in our own lives, Jesus works so much differently for everybody to learn of him, to see him, than anyone else. I think everyone is on their own path. I think that this conversation happened with Peter. So they sent Peter to go fishing. I think maybe if he had talked to me, he would have sent me on a different assignment that made more sense to me, B, maybe is more natural for me. Sending Peter to go fishing was a natural thing. If he's going to go find money somewhere, I believe, from what I know, the first place Peter would go would be to go fishing. If he wants to make money, he's going to go catch fish and sell them. If Jesus was talking to me about my temple tribute, he would be sending me to do stuff that I do. But it would be different. And I love that everything's so much different. And I think maybe if Jesus had talked to someone who was a farmer or a hunter or a trapper or whatever, he would have said, go hunt for a rabbit, and in the rabbit you'll find this. Or go harvest your field, and when you pick the wheat, you're going to find this in the ground. Or depending on who we are, he's going to perform that miracle differently for us. And I love this because I think about it a lot. And I think I kind of picture in my room here. Let's say I had marbles and I dropped 100 marbles on the ground. They'd be scattered all over the ground, right? All over the place. Now let's say, sorry, I should have thought this out. Let's say this is Jesus, this light, and the marbles are on the ground. Every marble on the ground is going to take a different path to Jesus, to that light. And no one's path is going to be the same. None of those marbles, the one over here in the corner is going to come this way, one's going to come this way, one's going to come from the back and up, one's going to come from the front and up, one's coming from over here. Maybe some are coming from the closet. Everyone's coming from different directions, right? Coming from all over to the path to Jesus. No one is on that same path. No two marbles here are taking that same path to Jesus. And I think that's true for humans. It's true for all of us. But I think it's way more diverse than that. Some people may be coming from a block away. Some may be coming from the attic. Some may be coming from who knows where. Some may be starting closer up here. Some may be farther away. Everyone's path is totally different to get back to Jesus. And I believe that Jesus has prepared the path that makes sense for us to return to him. I believe for Peter, teaching him through stories about fishing or lessons about fishing, that's what made sense to Peter. If Jesus talked to me and said, I'm going to make you a fisherman, I'm like, dude, I've caught 3 fish in my life, and I've been fishing 30 times, and I'm a horrible fisherman. If you're looking for a fisherman, you need to find someone else, because that is not my strength. I like fishing. I just don't catch fish. Probably if I liked it more, I don't know. I catch fish. I don't know. Beside the subject. But I believe that Jesus teaches us different ways in our life. And I think this is true. And I think in a few months, I'm going to do a video on parking places. And I hope this makes more sense at the time, but I love cars. I think cars are so cool. any car. I think they're just amazing and fun to drive. And oh my gosh. So I look at little lessons in life, and I feel like I've had some very strong spiritual experiences, and you can laugh, based off of cars. And I think because I like cars so much, that is a means for Jesus to teach me about things of his kingdom. And there's other things that I I love my kids, and probably 10,000 times in my life I've thought having this experience with my kids is teaching me what it might be like to be like God. I know that sounds arrogant, and I don't mean it to be, and obviously I'm not God or anywhere close. But if you see God sending us to earth to help us to become something greater, to become more like him, and I've got my children in my house and I'm raising them to become more like me, but hopefully more like him and less like me, but like I'm raising him to do the same thing. And different things throughout the day, I'll be like, I gotta let go on the bike, and they have to ride their bike without me, and I can't touch. And you know what? They're gonna fall sometimes, and that's part of the learning experience, but it's gonna be worth it. And in life, I'm like, yeah, that's probably what Heavenly Father thinks too. Like, Ryan, you are gonna fall, and actually you're gonna fall more than most people because you don't learn very fast. So you're gonna fall a lot. But the person you're going to become through these experiences is who I want you to become. So I think that Jesus uses these experiences in our life that are meaningful to us. He uses cars or my kids, or I like finance stuff. I think it's fascinating. Stuff like that. I think that he uses for me to help me learn about him. I think that other people will have different experiences. You might have an experience about when you're hiking or sewing or in the mine, or I don't know. But I think everyone's path is different. And I think Jesus uses the things that we care about and that we understand and are passionate about to help us learn more about him. Anyway, so Jesus is telling Peter to go to the sea. Go fishing. That's what you do. You go fishing. You're a fisherman. I've made you a fisherman. Like, this is what we're doing. So go to the sea. Cast a hook. Take up the fish that first cometh up. And I like that and it probably might be different in other versions. It says cast and hook. Like one hook. You're throwing one hook in and you're going to catch your first fish. Like, one hook, one fish. It's easy. Jesus is laying this out for us, and making the path easy. And when thou hast opened his mouth, so he's going to open the mouth of the fish and take a piece of money out of his mouth. He's not saying you're going to catch a really big fish or a really big catch and you're going to sell that, because we've done that, right? We've already seen that in Jesus's world. And I can imagine Peter sitting there like, okay, I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to catch a whole ton of fish again, and I'm going to sell them, and I'm going to pay this tribute. Nope. And as we say almost every week, Jesus doesn't roll like we think he's going to roll. He doesn't perform the miracle like we think he's going to perform the miracle. He'll do it different. And the first half of this story, you see like memes. You had me in the first half. Like, Peter's probably listening to this. Okay, I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to catch it. And I'm going to sell it. And then something different happens. And I love that that's how the gospel works. I love that's how Jesus works, because it's always, always, always something different. It's always something that we can't foresee. It's always something that we have to have faith in. We have to have faith. Peter has to have faith. Like, what do you mean I'm going to go fishing and find some money in fish's mouth? Which is crazy. It sounds like the amount of money that they would pay The word for that amount that they're asking for two of them, which is about 2 days worth of pay. And I know money worked way different back then than it does today. We use money for every transaction today. Back then, Peter probably used money far less than we would today because he would catch fish and trade them for whatever he needed in life. But that's about two days pay for a worker. So they're paying for 2 days pay. So I was looking, depending on where you look, between maybe $150-ish, $500 on the high end. A lot of sources think more like $150, $200. So that's a pretty good coin that he's finding in this fish's mouth. That's probably about what the tribute they were asking for was. I love not only that Jesus says do this stuff, you have these 7 steps. And they wouldn't be hard to remember. Just go fish and you're going to do it. You're going to find it. But you're going to find the money. So he's saying don't use money that you might have now. You're going to find the money. God is going to provide. God is going to provide us a way to make this right. I also love that Jesus says at the very end of the chapter that take and give unto them for me and thee. So for both of us, you're going to take the coin and it's going to pay for both of us. And I love that because just that, I think Jesus is always providing for all of us. He's providing the way for himself, but also for us. Like he's providing for us. He's providing the money and the fish for all of us. He's providing for us. And the big thing is Peter did it. I mean, I assume he did it. I'm guessing he did it. Okay, I don't think it actually says, but I think it would have said if he didn't. And I'm sure Peter did it. So can you imagine, like, if the tax collector came and said you need to pay your taxes, and your pastor's like, your bishop or whoever's like, yeah, okay, go fishing, and then you're going to catch a fish, and the first fish you get is going to have, like, all your taxes that you need to pay in its mouth. What? I'm guessing a lot of people wouldn't even do that. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm not doing that. That's absurd. That's not going to happen. No one ever finds money in a fish's mouth. That's silly. But I think Peter did it. He's like, okay. And I think he's had enough experiences by chapter 17 that he knows that it's going to happen. He knows that whatever random thing Jesus asked him to do, he is going to do it. And he is going to learn from it. And it's going to, whatever the lesson is, whatever he needs to do is going to happen because of his obedience in doing the weird random thing. So I guarantee Peter went out, got a hook, threw it in the water, caught a fish, caught the coin, gave it, paid the tribute for Jesus and Peter. I love that this is cool. I think there's so many people around, but Jesus is finding a way to pay the tribute for him and Peter. It's a small thing, just the two of them. I think it's like a small intimate thing. He's not feeding 5,000 people or 15,000 or whatever that might have been. He's taking care of 2 people right now. And I love that some miracles are for everybody. Some are the small things. Some are these little tiny things just between us and Jesus. And I love that. I love it. Anyway, as we talk about in a lot of our videos, Jesus performs miracles in so many different ways, so many unexpected ways. When Jesus won't ask you to do some random thing like go fishing and get money out of the fish's mouth, go fishing. Go do it. Go cast your line. We don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Here it makes sense. This is one of the rare times when Jesus says, you will find the money in the fish's mouth. Usually, I feel like from what we've read, and not that I know what Jesus is going to say, but it seems like a lot of times Jesus will say, we need to pay the tribute, go fishing. Okay? And then something will happen. Jesus is explaining what he needs to do and the end story for this, which we usually don't get that second half. But whatever it is, whatever Jesus is asking you to do, and how do we know that Jesus is asking us to do something? We just have that prompting. We have that feeling. I feel like I need to fish. Jesus doesn't talk to us the same. He's not in front of us face to face, but I feel like we get those promptings in life. I need to do this. I need to go here. I need to talk to this person. I need to go check on my kids or check on whatever. And in doing whatever that is, something else happens, a miracle happens. And I feel like that's when the miracles happen, is when we are obedient, when we follow this. And it's so evident in the scriptures that we don't even read about Jesus or Peter going and fishing and getting the thing or whatever. But we know that he did it. And it's Jesus saying what's going to happen. So always listen to that voice. And then always, whatever it is that you're good at, or your hobby is, or you're passionate about, I would encourage you to find how Jesus is trying to teach you and develop you and build you through your passion and talent. It's amazing.